Elaine is just starting her presentation. We lost some words, but I think the important stuff will come.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm famous for doing a whole presentation and then the student says, "Where are the slides?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So everyone, thank you for being here. We're going to talk a little bit about how to start your own business in project management and how to make sure that you're not making some of the mistakes that many people do, and also making sure you don't get ripped off. Have a roadmap. The handbook or the workbook that I sent for you is a couple little exercises to do. Nothing mandatory, but certainly it will help you. And then we can talk about next steps. I live in Massachusetts, and it's true. I'm part of the chapter in Silver Springs, Maryland, and also in Houston, Texas. I go where I am appreciated. Enough said on that one. So, a little bit about my clients. My clients, I find that I have the ability to coach individuals, and all of a sudden, they not only pass their PMP, they go on and get the PMO certification, they go get masters, PhDs, start companies, and I'm like, wow, I have no idea what it is exactly I do, but I do know I do it well. And so I invite you to come visit a class, refer me to others. You don't refer me to others for martial artists because the people normally get afraid of that piece and the fencing, but everything else, yes. So I added a bonus in the presentation, just so you know, and we can just quickly look at this. I do believe it's in your handout also. It's looking at the top 15 actions, and I pulled this from ChatGPT that you can use to plan your business, defining your niche. You can't just get up one day and say, I'm going to start a business. Yeah, that business looks good. I'm going to go do that. You have to do your market research. You have to create a business plan. You have to come up with some kind of a marketing plan. If you only knew, for those of you who don't have businesses, all the pieces that need to be done to make money, to even just keep yourself afloat, you would be very shocked. I would, if I had to do it over, I would do it differently, but I would still do it. And I encourage and applaud anyone that says after this presentation, I want to start my own business and training, and I have what it takes. And definitely, all you need is that willpower. So, the disclaimer, you may be thinking, you need me, Thomas? Okay. So the disclaimer is you are all guaranteed. You're guaranteed to get a great experience today in this presentation. But when it comes to 6, 7, 8, 9 figure earning income, that is not something I can guarantee. I can't guarantee, just like with my students, I can't guarantee they're going to study. I can't guarantee that they're going to do the reading. They tell me they are. And each week when I say, did you do any assignments? No. What can I do? Can't spank their hands. I'm all the way over here. But the point is that you're going to get an opportunity to see this industry blown open wide. And this is not about PMI or only the PMP. We're going to take you in this journey is looking at your strengths, the things you like to do, and then tying that to a business where if you never got paid, it would be okay because you're having the best day of your life. So, real Glück an jeden. Major facts about entrepreneurs, right? They can be independent, control your own earnings, have satisfaction of growing as much and as far as you want, being fulfilled to control your destiny, creating your own work life balance. Now, that one is a laugh. I get about 3 to 4 hours, maybe 3.5 hours of sleep per night. I know some of you are like, but sometimes you do what you have to do. It was important that I perfect the presentation. I when I do work on materials, my training materials, presentations that I give at various chapters and companies. I work that thing over and over. Even this afternoon, I was looking and polishing it like some kind of Maserati, just making sure it was perfect, because I want to make sure that my clients and my audience gets the best experience. So one of the places you can go and look for opportunities, as a in being a contractor, or an opportunity to work, um, in a job, or maybe in something between a job and a contract position, so to speak. I don't want to say having your own business, because you can't just go online and say, that looks good, let me get started. There are more steps, and we're going to look at that. So I copied this from a site called Careers on LinkedIn, and it talks about they're on a mission to collect and connect the world's performers, the professionals, so that they can be most productive and successful. So I listed some positions. I list some of these are contractors. Those of you who are heavy on LinkedIn, definitely connect to me. I have over 15,000 contacts on LinkedIn. I really know how to work my LinkedIn profile. And what I do with that is stay connected to people. So when people connect to me, and some of you already have before the conference today, and I appreciate it, what happens is people say, hey, do you know someone? Now, I don't know all my 15,000 people, but when I put a survey out, when I post a question, when I post something that's funny, people do engage. So if you're looking for connections to people in my network, let me know. I can definitely hook you up, as the young people say. So the latest tech companies, it is known that a lot of the innovative stuff that happens in tech happens in Silicon Valley, okay, in California. The like Apple, Hewlett Packard, all of these companies are companies that are on the cutting edge of what's happening in tech. And so one of the things people do is actually watch and get on newsletters to watch these companies. What are they coming out with? Looking at the tech conference that happens every year in Vegas. It happens in January. I think it's called either DECCon. I'm not exactly remembering the name of that conference, but if you look up tech conference in Vegas in January, it'll pop up on the screen. And it's important to stay on the cutting edge of knowing what others are doing. Doesn't mean you're copying. It means you want to go into a field where people are willing to pay, where people are willing to hire. So dice.com is another source. I don't know if I'm sure that you have access, and I'm sure that Dice has a site where you can actually find jobs either in Germany or in other, though your chapter doesn't only have individuals who are from Germany. So the thing is, it's worldwide. And you want it. What I like about dice.com, you can load your resume in there, and it will tell you the strengths of your resume, and how you line up with all the hundreds of thousands of people who have their resumes in there. It will tell you if you're measuring as a strong candidate, a weak candidate, or in the middle. What are the salary ranges? Here are some positions that I thought were interesting, because as you transition from being a full-time employee to being a independent contractor to having your own business, you're all not going to say, oh, I want to do the PMP. That's not sustainable. Or you're not saying, oh, we all want to just do cloud or AI. Not everybody's suited for AI, as you probably already know. So these all came from LinkedIn. If you're going to be a contractor, you're looking at situations where you actually control the pace of the work, because if they say 10 months, then at the end of 10 months that position either will get renewed, it says with extensions, or it may terminate, or it might terminate early if you reach your goals early. So it's all up to you. How assertive are you with your approach to handling working alone, working with a team, having a team depend on you? Now, this slide has made me really sad. I did some extra research, and I know, and if some of you can put in the chat, if this is what you thought entrepreneurs earn for a salary, 70,000 US, how many people thought that thinks this 70,000 is a good salary yearly? Well, look, hold on. Let me just see those. That's $34.06 an hour. Thomas, are they saying yes or no?
Um, Somebody's saying that's so low, seems low.
It does. It does. Now, when I think of an entrepreneur, I know you're getting solicited too on LinkedIn. You know, you can make $1 million. You can make $40,000 a week, $100 a day, $100 an hour. You know, all that kind of stuff. And you're like, wow, you know, the world is my oyster. I just need to do this thing right. So I'm not sure. And this is saying March 14th, 2024. I'm not sure where this came from. Zippia, entrepreneur job salary. And
Mhm.
you know, and I'm wondering, because of the way the economy is, a lot of people are not doing well in their business, but they are pretending. They're saying to people, you can make $1 million, you can make $6 million, you can make 100 million. And when I look at the industry of what people are doing, people are not working hard to say, oh my God, they're working so hard. They're pulling in that money. So I'm wondering where those numbers that marketers are saying. I pulled some additional information. The average entrepreneur salary by state in New York, 100,000, 82,000. If this is the average, then when you look at there are people making much more, but there are more people making nothing. So I'm thinking they're looking at all the people who are saying they're entrepreneurs and doing an average of all that, and all those zeros, all those zeros are coming in as part of dragging down the number. But the number is normally much higher. When people are in business, they really deliver, and what I'm going to share with you today is how you can do that too. Highest paying entrepreneur jobs: manager, operations manager. I'm sorry, I must have touched the link to open that by mistake. Okay. Customer service manager. You and I and Thomas, we're all looking at the higher range. And but as a PM, you do know that those salaries end up being 120,000 and even more. And if you're in tech, it goes into the 200,000. All depends on how important your area of specialization is. And so as a contractor, you have to know your worth. And why is that important? Because there are individuals out there to say they'll pay you $35 an hour. And if you are late on your mortgage, you may take that job. I would advise you not to, but the bottom line, you don't want to lose your home. You don't want your wife or your husband to walk out on you. So here are some unemployment levels, and this is based on the US. I do have some stats based on some things going on in Europe, but as you can see, things that how COVID affected, where people got, stayed home, and they end up having to, they were out of work. So you're looking at this cycle, downward cycle from 2010 all the way down. People were working, doing better, but then COVID came. Now you're having this spike. And so it's important that you understand your strengths. How are you going to use this information to then find the ideal area for your work? So GDP is looking at the goods and services that were produced based on the company's borders or the company's ability to deliver during a certain period of time. So I wanted to show you this because I wanted to show you the GDP rate for the US compared to China, Japan, Germany, UK. And this is, of course, this is 2015. So you're saying, oh, it's not relevant. So let's look at another world economy GDP by country in 2019. These are some of the stats that are out there. And, you know, it all fluctuates based on what's going on, any wars that are happening, any sanctions that has been put on any country. So I thought I saw Germany. Germany's over here with a 4.38% GDP. So it's important to know these pieces of information so that you can then make more informed decisions. Some of you like this kind of stuff where you say, well, let me see if I can calculate it. It's in the presentation. I'm not going to spend the time going over it, but I do know whenever I deliver presentations and I come out with calculations, the faces of project managers light up like it's Christmas. I find that amazing. So let's look at your roles. I only put a few here, but I want you to put in the chat, what are some of the roles that you have or that you have had? IT project manager, most of us are project managers here, program managers, portfolio managers, maybe there's a PMO director. Thomas, can you share with me some of the things that people are putting in? Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So, I'm have my problems handling. So yeah, several. So we have the project engineer, product manager, IT project manager, project coordinator, project and program manager, consultant and coaching for PMO and so on.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So when we look at that, the roles, right? Let's look at some of the business opportunities. Now, some of you can scroll back and look at what others have written. And now look at some of these business opportunities. Consulting. Some of you are working as consultants now. Some of you have been on projects a long time. I worked as a consultant when I was with Hewlett Packard, and I was a consultant for 4 years. I was treated best when I was a consultant, because you're a consultant. You're there because they need you. And I found that so enjoyable that they just gave me gifts and treated me so well. As soon as I got hired as a full-time employee, they were like, what are you doing out of your office? Like, wow. So being a consultant works for me. Keynote speaker, an IT expert, maybe an AI expert, an independent contractor. And sorry about the typo here. I ran and did this last minute, so I apologize. So when you look at where you are and the opportunities where you can go, none of you are saying, I want to go and become an astronaut. It might be feasible for some of you to say, look, I'm going to go back and go to medical school. I'm going to go to law school. Some of you might be able to do that, but there are some professions that the boat has sailed, and getting more certifications is probably the best some of the older or more seasoned project managers can do. So what are some of the opportunities some of you are thinking about? Thomas, can you share with me what they're putting in the chat?
Yeah, if they are putting something. Can you repeat the question so everybody has it?
Okay. Yes. So when we look at where you are right now and where you're heading or you're going, what are some of the areas of opportunities do you feel are available to you? Becoming a NASA astronaut is not one of them. I'm going to feel I can safely say that won't be on the list. But what are some of the things that you think you'd like to do? Project management training, run a PMO, so you can have a business where you actually offer to companies the opportunity to run their PMO for them or to build a PMO and run it.
Now they are coming in. So business development manager, team lead, product management, training, build a PMO, becoming a mentor.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Can you see how those Or the transition is that maybe you've had 10 years, 15 years of experience in a particular area. Now you can take it and mold it and make it something bigger, happier, helping others, as well as earning a serious income. And the reason I'm saying that is you can't transition to something unless that's so huge that you can't even see yourself in it unless you go and get two masters, two more PhDs. That's a long road. So you want, when you're thinking about transition, is making that transition pleasant that you can achieve it. So let's look at some of the myths in the chat. Put some of the myths that you have actually experienced or you think about when you think about owning a business. Put it in the chat. What are some of the myths? Myths are things that are not true, things that are crazy, things that, like, wow, you could make $1 million a day. I have not met anyone that made $1 million a day. The purpose of this workshop is to help you stay grounded. You can make a lot of money as an independent contractor. Yeah, but can you do that from today and by Friday have $1 million? No, you have to put the time in. Thomas, what are some of the things that they're saying are myths?
A myth is, my own myth is, customers are waiting for me. No, they are not. Nobody waits for it. Cash flow. The name said cash flow. So it's a myth that cash flow is, I think, steady or whatever. You
Yeah.
have to plan for some valleys in this cash flow. Crazy tax in Germany. So maybe not a myth, but a problem for some. Risk
Okay.
of failure. Well, crazy tax in Germany, I experienced this in my own business. When you make really a lot of money in 1 year and the next year nothing, and then in the third year the tax authorities come and want the money. So there's a big delay between tax payment and income creation. Um, Risk of failure. Not enough experience to be a consultant.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Christopher says, I have the best idea of all. That's all the myth. We have to be humble, I think. And yeah, again, the tax system is too complicated.
It is, but the thing is, you can't get taxed on what you didn't earn. That's an important piece there. So here are some of the myths that I came up with that, very hard it's hard to have a business. The work is hard. Um, you, Easy when you have the right team. That's true. If you have a team of advisors and the right people helping you, yeah, having a business is a joy. Overnight success. I have not, people say, oh, when they go on like Oprah, oh yeah, I did it by myself. Oh, it was a piece of cake. And the whole time they know they were crying every night, went to bed hungry some nights because the checks didn't come in. Customers tell you, yeah, I'll pay, I'll send the money, and they don't send the money. Okay, the bank account has nothing in it. That's not a myth. Sometimes it goes zero, maybe negative. The bottom
Negative.
line, you have to be prepared for that.
We
Okay, so
I see another. Lutz mentioned another myth. I think it's very interesting, but it's specific for Germany. So, is there really a shortage of skilled workers in Germany? Because we always say we don't have skilled workers, and we have to invite others to come in and help us.
I don't, they say the same thing here in the US. And so I'm wondering, what are they looking for? They're looking for someone that has PhD and everything, but they're just out of high school. Come on. You can't have somebody have all this experience, and then still want to pay them the lowest salary. What I'm seeing and what my clients are telling me is that they get offered a position to run the PMO. They don't even have the PMP. I'm wondering, when is somebody going to address that? Companies, they want to have good things, but they want to manipulate and manage the people that are working underneath them. So that is really an issue. And you want to be kind and accommodating, but if you know your stuff and your manager is, I'm sorry if there's any noise. I have somebody working outside the house right now. So the bottom line is you management needs to realize we know what we're doing and they need to give us the leeway. But many times the thought of losing all of their money in one decision, that is quite scary. So the important thing is you want to fail fast and fail often. What that means is you want to get all the errors and problems out of the way. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from the mistakes of, I prefer to learn from the mistakes of others. This way, I end up not making those same mistakes. Spending money with people that can't help me. People will tell you they can help you, and they have no experience. You may want to do fact checks on people. You may want to check and see, are they listed in Better Business Bureau? Are they listed in, you search them on the web? There should be carbon footprints of them. There should be footsteps of them throughout the whole internet. If they've been in business for a while, it shouldn't be that they're the best kept secret. So I wanted to make sure I addressed for you, and but it's also for me too, the GDPR regulations, right? Again, pulling this from ChatGPT, hoping that it didn't mess me up. And but the important thing is we have something similar in the US. When you start a website or you have something where the general public can take a look, there's always a box saying, is this appropriate for people under the age of 18 or something like that? Like even YouTube, because the point is if young children have access to it, you want to be able to if parents have blocks on their systems, they want to be able to block that from young people. So as much as you guys have this, when the GDPR, when I do business with individuals that are not in the US, is immediately I say, oh, wait, what are you doing with GDPR? Because I don't want to be in violation or have any kinds of issues. So it's important as a business owner that you make sure that when your business is lined up properly, that you are actually making sure that you're registered in your town, your state, that you have insurance, that you have an attorney that you've talked things out with. There's a lot of steps. Okay, also, you want to make sure that you have a way of getting sales. Just because you build it doesn't mean they're going to come. The only people I see doing that are like drug dealers or something. They don't seem, Thomas, they don't seem to need a like a sales plan or have a marketing system. I find that fascinating, but not fascinating enough to get into that profession. That's not for me. If your field is regulated, has compliance issues, you want to make sure that you know it, that you stay current, and that you make sure that you have documentation that you have actually taken care of that. One of the important things is scaling your business. How do you know that you can make more money? How can you make more money? How creative are you with your ideas? And then an exit plan. I always said, oh, I'll never sell my business. And I'm thinking now there are parts of my business that I've expanded to a point where somebody might want to buy it and use it as their primary business. There's so many different things you can do, but you need to also try to be creative. So here are some of the steps. I want some of you to get a small piece of paper out or use your workbook and look at some of the steps. Coming up with a name for your company. You have to come up with a creative name, creative colors, a logo. You need a website. You need to do market research. That is critical. How do you know people are going to buy it? Have you interviewed people who are in the profession that said, oh my God, if I could have that program today, I'd pay you $40,000. You need to test that. You need to build a business plan. I'm not going to read through all of these, but as you scan through these are important. We have a Chamber of Commerce here in the US. It's like an organization where business people get together once a week, share ideas, um, keep each other current. You know, it's almost like a PMI chapter, but for businesses, people need to know what laws have changed. Do you have clients that I could possibly solicit? things like that. Working on your own is really hard. So you need to form a collaboration with others that are in business so that you can then be better at what you do. Better Business Bureau, we have the Attorney General's Office. These are organizations that help business owners. When you have someone you think has scammed you, you can report them to these organizations. This is a place where you, even though you're in Germany, can go to the website, put a company's name in there, and see if they show up wherever anybody ever complained about them. The Federal Trade Commission, there are things that you need to do with your website, having your name and address at the bottom. You may say, oh, I'm really private. I don't want anybody to know where I live. Well, then get a post office box or some of those address, like a fake address at a post office box that you can use. But you have to, in a way, you can't just have a website, because if something happens, somebody needs to know, how do I reach that person? They're infringing on my copyright laws. They have my stuff up on their website. United Nations, the reason I mentioned this is because I do sustainability training. And there are a lot of regulations that, as a business owner, you need to make sure you're following. Are you hiring people who are underage, which is pretty much illegal? And are you treating people fairly? Are you abusing your power as a business owner? So I'm not going to go through all of this, but as you can see, this is not even the tip of all the other things that you need to do to
Mhm.
get your business up and going. Any comments in the chat, Thomas?
Not in the chat, but I have a question. What I didn't see on that was really the whole internet thing. I see you have Facebook ads, but then there is, maintain your LinkedIn, look at Instagram, what is on TikTok, blah, blah, blah. There are so many platforms. You could really, YouTube, your videos, everything. So,
Yes.
and I saw business people doing the core stuff themselves, but then hiring somebody who is maintaining these platforms for them.
You're right. So I did put over here funnels and scripts. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Funnels and scripts, like sales scripts. Those are things that you would then put on those platforms. You'd create these funnels, and you're right. Using social media really requires that you use all the platforms, because you don't know where your clients are coming from. Most of my clients come from LinkedIn. I have not in a long time gotten clients where I go and stay on TikTok or Facebook. My brother has worked some things for me on Instagram, but I'm really not there. So yeah, you have to have somebody else work that. You cannot be the expert at being in your business and working on the business. It is really tiring. So that's where it comes, where you have to spend money and figure out, I need a marketing plan. You may say, well, this is really good stuff. Why do I even have to market it? Why can't I just put it on LinkedIn and wait for them to come? You have to, almost like when you post something, tell people and encourage them. And I have people that have been so forceful with me this week, like, hey, why don't we have a meeting? Like, I am really busy. I don't have time. I'd like to speak with you, but maybe we can do that next month. No, this week. This week is good. I'm like, no, you can't twist my arm and push me down to the floor and make me have a meeting. Don't be pushy with people, because then they sense that, and then they don't like that. It's like, who are you to tell me what to do? So yeah, Thomas, you're right. The social media part is using all of those platforms, but you have to get comfortable. You can't do it all. If you try to do it all, you'll be like me with 3 hours of sleep a night. Some of my steps, right? These are some of my steps, and I have a roadmap for you to look at in a moment. Being nice to everyone. Okay, that's really important. Sometimes people contact me, and I have a feeling that they're just wanting to have me talk to them, like some girlfriend or something. I'm like, wait a minute. But I said, you know what? Don't go there. is probably somebody that wants to share information. And 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that says, hey, I wanted to find out more, but I was kind of embarrassed to ask you about the PMP. It's some people, they don't always have bad intentions. So you have to give people the benefit of the doubt. And my phone number, email, everything is out on social media for the last 20 years. No one has ever said, I'm going to follow you to your house. Like, they probably just saw the martial arts on the website. They're like, no, we won't be bothering her. So I'm giving this to you, the slides, as a gift to look through this material. Some of you out there are thinking, and you're thinking this could possibly work for you in terms of you starting a business. I would not suggest that you just quit your job. I was laid off after I got my PMP in 2008. I had been training before 2008. And so when I got laid off, I kicked my business off that same year. But had I had time to plan it and strategize, that would have been better, because I would have spent less money with people who didn't know what they were doing. You really have to be careful. There are people out there that have no idea what they're doing, but they're using you to learn how to do the business of providing the services. So here's a roadmap I'd like for you to take, and I don't know how much time, I think there's like 3 slides left, but I want you to start to think of what would you do first? What are some of the things you would do first? Would you do your market research first, or would you have meetings with advisors? Would you have meetings with advisors and sit with your family and talk about ideas? I would say family is probably one of the last people, unless it's your spouse. Family is not very supportive when you have a business. They're like, why are you spending so much time on those webinars? Why you're on another marketing call? Family, they don't understand. But when the money comes in and you turn around and give two, three, $500 to a family member, and they smile, they don't say, oh no, you keep it, you go buy something for yourself. They're like, thank you, and off they go. But it does take, and it is a lot of work to pull in money, heavy money, consistently. And that's where I am in my business, is making sure consistently that the process works. The problem is the economy doesn't stay consistent. There's always something going on. There's always some conflict in some country somewhere, and it affects the stock market. And then people react to what happens in the stock market. Oh my God, the sky is falling. Don't spend any money. And I'm sure it is same in Germany, to when something happens in the world, everybody's like, don't do any spending. Stay still, don't breathe, don't move. So if you can tell me, what are some of your first 3 steps you would like to do to get started for those of you? So first of all, how many of you, just put yes in the chat, how many of you have been inspired by this presentation to take another step forward in opening or reopening your business? Put a yes in the chat.
Or a no.
No, or no. I don't want to hear no. But no is good. Just as long as
Yeah.
you're still doing something to bring in income. If you're unemployed and you're not looking at any options, that's a little bit of a concern.
So we have two yes so far.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. It's not
Three.
encouraging you to do 3. Excellent, excellent. So think about, what are the first 3 steps you would do? Would you find an advisory team? Would
Some
you?
just to quote the chat, because you don't see it. Uh, Somebody said it was very inspiring what you said, Elaine. But
Excellent.
I'm not the one for starting an own business.
It's
That
hard.
that's
It's
also
hard.
a good thing, if you understand who you are and you say, "Oh, that's not for me." I'm
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah.
good swimmer. I like to run.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So is anybody putting one of the first 3 things they would do? Do you think maybe building an advisory team, talking with experts, and maybe doing market research before you even go out and get a name? before you even go and get an attorney and see if you're doing an LLC. Do you want to S corp? There's a whole industry of, well, do you want to be a sole proprietor, or do you want to just do it as a hobby and see if it takes and then transition into a full business? There's
Yeah.
so many decisions to make, and you have to think in terms of, it's important decisions, because every decision you make takes you either towards happiness or spending money and losing time in the market.
Peggy says starting with market research.
Yes, yes. Market research is so important, because then you find out how much are people willing to pay, who are the ideal customers, and where are they? Where are they? They're not just sitting in your backyard having a beer party. They are, you have to find them. And it's a lot of work to find them.
Yeah.
So, do you have the guts to reach for your dreams? The truth be told, okay, you will never fire yourself from your company. You will never get up on a Monday and say, "You're fired, turn in your laptop." That it's over. That'll never happen. And I worked in some very interesting environments, and that's why I like working for myself, because I will never give myself 25 cents raise. That's what happened to me in one company. They gave me 25 cents as an increase in the salary. I'm telling you, I understand why there's violence in the workplace. I understand it now. So how badly do you want to succeed? Because that's going to drive your next steps in this arena. So the final thoughts, I'd like to hear any questions from the audience, any comments, any suggestions, any thoughts.
Well, maybe I have a thought, and it is how I started. So when you start your own business, yes, you are basically on your own and you're looking for professional advisors and specialists. But nevertheless, maybe you are within a network where you can get a coach to help you to start up, a startup coach, something like that. They exist for other business, but this might be even for somebody else a business, to help others to create their own business.
Yeah, I had 6 coaches last year, different coaches, and they were all working me. Sometimes you can get in your own way. So sometimes if you have so much going on and people do this, do that, get there, do that, change this, post this, that you don't have time to second guess what they're telling you. I had one coach, I was paying him 2,500 a month. Don't ever tell my daughter. She will kill me. She will kill me. She was like, I hope you're not giving him a lot of money. And he was really so good. And when you believe in your business idea, sometimes you can lose yourself and it's like going to a casino and you just
Yeah.
keep putting money in. You just keep more money and more money. It's going to happen. This is the week. This is the month. My business is producing, but is it $1 million business, $1 billion business? No, but I'm happy with the people that I've met. I'm happy with the income I'm able to earn, but try not to fool yourself into believing that you overnight can have millions, put the money in the bathtub and sit in it and throw it all of that stuff you see them do on the videos. That's not real. That's not real. The real people out here doing the hard work in the world, we don't take bubble baths with our money.
Yeah.
Any comments? Any questions? You guys have any questions? I've been in business for over 20 years. There's nothing that I have not experienced that I I'm willing to share. So you have me here. Ask questions.
Well, Germans are, well, from my experience in these webinars, Germans are not so keen to open up and ask questions that might. But we also have in our audience some people from Nigeria. Maybe there's another business environment, and they also look for. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the call. They look for opening up a business.
Hey, Nigeria, give me your questions. Give me your questions. Definitely. And I understand that. My family's from the Caribbean, and it's like they will never show their hand. Never. You know, they could be dying in 2 minutes. They'll never show their hand.
Annette,
And you,
yeah. Annette, you're raising your hand. Please speak up.
Hi.
From
Yeah, one of my questions is I'm also consultant in PMO and project management in Germany since 15 years. Can we somehow collaborate? How can we collaborate? Because one of the main issues we have here in Germany is that the Germans are usually very intaken, and it's very, very hard to bring in a professional work of worldwide collaboration
oh,
into our environment.
okay. So and I hear what you're saying. I guess one or two words I think you said were German. I didn't I was like, what is that? Trying to
We are
find the
different,
root word.
definitely.
No, but yeah, but it's really hard to, and what you need to do is collaborate. I'd love to collaborate with you. As a
Mhm.
PMO, there's somebody who is doing PMO work now. His name is Dr. Jimmy Goddard. He's well known. He does presentations. He's certified in PMO. And one of the things that you can do is you have to collaborate with people because of the way the economy is. We're seeing the US companies joining together, ice cream company and like a gas station. So people go in the gas station, they can also go get ice cream. You're seeing cookie companies, and so things that go together where, I'll bring my people in and your people will buy from me and my people will buy from you. So I'm a kind of person that's like, I don't want anybody messing up what I have going on. No, I don't want to have anybody do something and now I'm connected to somebody that doesn't do something well. But you can't think like that. You have to say, hey, let's work together. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. We'll go our own separate ways. But you cannot sit and do this heavy lifting of starting a university and you have no team. It's just you're the instructor and you're the teacher and you're the HR. I know of someone right now, her company that she was with had that, where one person had all the roles. It was like a dictatorship going on. And that is a high risk because you have to have people who are special. You can't be a specialist in everything. So I would love to send me, connect with me on LinkedIn. Again, I have a lot of contacts. I know a lot of people. So if I'm not right for you, if I have too much energy, that's because I'm from New York. But if it is you want to meet someone or you want to collaborate with me, I am always open to that. I'm not even sure how I met. I think I met Thomas because I thought he was a PMO. What is it at the PMI level? Um, One of the founders.
no, no, no,
That's
no.
right. That's why I was like, yeah, he's probably one of the PMI founders. People want to know, how do you get to that level of being a PMI founder?
I will
Yeah,
tell you. I will tell you. I'm not a founder, and of PMI or anything within PMI, but I'm a fellow, and we don't have too many fellows, and I'm the only
okay.
one in Germany, and that makes me a little bit proud. But I don't brag about it. And and the good thing is, what I think nobody of you have. I was on my first business project in 1974, and most of you were not born in this year.
I was.
Oh yeah, what the secret? You don't look so old.
If I told you my age, all of you will fall on the floor. So I'm not going to go there. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's hear your story.
So we have another question. Maybe Annette, to your point, and you are. Let me close or comment on Annette's question. Because I think PMO stuff is now really getting some traction because PMI bought this organization, PMOGA, and they don't have a real network presence or community of practice or how you call it, but they will, I think, create something. That's one thing. But PMO also, there will be the first PMO standard coming out soon, from another organization, AI PMO. So there are several organizations worldwide looking for PMOs, and they now get traction because, many companies say we want to do that. Just for Annette on a private base, maybe. And now let me come to the question of Sarah Vanan. And maybe, Sarah Vanan, if you want, you can open up your mic and even video if you like, and ask your question yourself. So I'll wait 5 seconds. If not, then I will read it. This was 5 seconds.
Give me.
Oh, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
here come. Wonderful.
Hold on a second. Yeah. So
Yeah.
my question. First thing, this is very inspiring. I mean, even in the past, I've always thought about plunging into some kind of a business, but I always feel that I need a safe net when I do such kind of out of the blue or out of the box things. So, what do you think are like one or two ideas maybe that will make me or anyone for that matter not to look for safety nets, rather look at the goal and keep the focus? So there should be something in us that should have, that we should incultivate within our mind, not to look for safety nets. What do you think, and what are your from your experience, if you can share some insights, that would be very helpful.
So, and I appreciate your comments. I hear you, and I can feel that how you may be afraid to let go, right? To let go of what I call the golden handcuffs. The golden
Exactly.
handcuffs are when you're in a company and they pay, you get your pay, and they pay your insurance, and they pay this and your car and your everything come out your pay. And you don't have to do anything but make the money and see the pay come in every 2 weeks. You have to get away from that. That is almost like slavery, because you will never leave the company. You will never leave, because what if I don't get another job? What if I don't have any money? What if I can't take my kids to the park and go take them, buy them a horse? What if my wife wants a new ring and I don't have the money? When you come to the point when you have nothing and you have to go forward, there's something that happens within you. You make it happen. So if somebody kidnapped your kid, you would find a way. Maybe you don't know martial arts, you would find a way to kick butt. That moment, something comes in and you do it. So when you have a business and you're holding on to your job, you can never move that business forward and give it the love and attention it needs, because you are holding on to that job. So it's when you have nothing, you are like, I have got to get a sale this week. I have got to go out and network and meet 5 people. I've got to go to a PMI meeting and drop my business card to 20 people. 3 people say yes, and 1 person gives me a sale. You have to do it. If you don't do it, you'll always be like, no, not today, next year. And then your friends will say, oh my God, 5 years ago, you were going to start the business. What happened? You have to step out on faith. If you know you have a business idea and you want to do something, then you find a way to make it happen. But if you're holding on to a job and you're being abused by your manager and you're just sitting there taking it, like my mom, she's from Trinidad, and she was like, just when they abuse you, you just take it, it'll get better. That's a lie. It doesn't get better. When people abuse you in the workplace, it's like drugs. They do it again and again and again. So you have to decide, when are you going to leave, set a date, and start planning for it. But holding on to a job while you're trying to build another job, you don't have. Again, I'm on 3 hours of sleep. It is very tiring. So I'm not yelling at you, to the person that just asked the question. And I don't want you to feel bad that you're holding on. You're doing what you think is survival. But if you really want that business to take off and survive, I can't tell you what business to do because I don't know you. You and I we can consult. No charge, no strings tied, and we can have a chat and see, what comes up. But you have to look at, what do you like to do? And it may be something that has nothing to do with project management. You may say, I love gardening. I love gardening. I have flowers. If I could take my PC and show you all around in the spring, the flowers and everything, it just makes me so happy. But could I support my family doing that? Probably not. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to you and to some others who may not be asking questions. I hope I don't sound mean. I'm from New York. What can I say?
No, Saravan, shows his face. Yeah, you're talking now. Sorry, please go.
Sometimes it needs a slap on the face to wake up and do things that we want.
But you don't have to slap yourself on the face. There's this theory in psychology, like when you have bad habits, it's called the rubber band technique, and you wear the rubber band, and every time you start to bite your nails, pull your hair, you snap the rubber band to shock yourself into stop that. Stay focused. Some of my students, I even get them to do that for the PMP. Stay focused. Stop procrastinating. And slapping on the face sounds like sometimes somebody asked me to abuse them to get them to study more. And I said, that's a lawsuit in the making. I'm not doing that. They did. They asked me to treat them badly. And I was like, they're setting me up to sue me.
No, I mean, from a literal standpoint, nothing physically, but just that in the mindset should have a slap on the face and say that, yeah, enough is enough, do something out of the box. Perfectly fine. Thank you so much for your comments.
You're welcome. Have a great day. So everybody, if there's no more questions, I mean, I lost track of the time. This QR code goes to my mailing list. If you want to be on my mailing list, if you see my post on LinkedIn, some of them are so funny. People follow me and they enjoy my writings. I don't hold things back. I talk about the topics that need to be talked about in project management. I talk about it because somebody needs to hear it. And it's important. The PMI has jumped on that. They purchased that company. I believe they're going to take it like they did the PMP and have everybody and their mother trying to get a PMO. So if you want to get in on the PMO, now is the time. I have my PMO certification already. So I'm hoping they're not going to make everybody do it over. But there's something called the curve of innovation, right, Thomas? And in the beginning, if you catch the curve when things are innovative and new, you can basically, everything happens for you with no effort. But if you wait, like the PMP is at the tail end of that, everybody and their mother has a PMP. So when you try to sell PMP, people already have it. But if you come into an industry when it's brand new and you are ahead of the curve, everybody wants to be with you. They want to do what you're doing because you're innovative. You're leading the pack. So for those of you on the PMO pack or trail, make sure you jump on this, because when PMI starts taking off, you can then be a leader in it and make a lot of money.
Yeah. And maybe, as we get older, maybe your market research reveals that elderly care homes are your market. And then it's not only everybody and its mother, but also the grandmother, who can get a new PMP. So I think there is no, I think, we have the need for a lot of project managers, and there are only 1.5 million PMPs since inception, So I think there's still room for improvement, and I also think PMI thinks that,
Yeah, and PMI is now also targeting junior high school, junior high, and college students with this PM Ready program. So that's another, you've got to see the world through an eye of what's new, what's different, what can I do? How can I leave my mark? We're all going to die when we leave. We're going to leave this earth dying, okay? So you
Yep.
want to, how are you going to leave? You want to leave with your name on something? You want to inspire someone? You want someone to say 200 years from now, remember that Thomas dude? He was something else. You know, you don't want to say Thomas who?
Another topic I want to share, because of the safety net. I was working for IBM, and I had IBM clients, and so I tried to get a good connection with them and a good stakeholder engagement, not only for the projects but for personal reasons, and even if we had some quarrels, actually one of them was then my first client getting my own business, because he knew me, he already had a relationship with me, he trusted in me, he said, okay, you can do that. And then I came in and got a 2 year contract with them, and that's how things also can play out. Your whole life is relationship building, and you with your network. I think you have really to go around, and what I do, I have about 100 people. I send physical Christmas cards. So I write them myself, and it takes me a whole weekend to do that because my writing gets worse as I get older. But nevertheless, that's something where they feel appreciated, where I respect them, and where they understand they are on top of my relationships. So this is something I also started being an IBM project manager, doing with clients, and they appreciated it. So, and then you became a thank you, and then you came a coffee, and then you could discuss about something. That's how business happens. It's not that you really can prepare step by step. Now I want to convince this guy. No, no, no. If he doesn't trust in you, then he will never do business with you. So build on trust.
Yeah, and going to PMI meetings, I speak at a lot of PMI events. I'm part of the PMI speaker hub, so I get opportunities for people to review my information. I'm speaking with you guys. I would have Oliver Lehman was one of my initial coaches, and he always said, "Oh, you need to come to Germany." And I was like, "I am a Black woman. What am I doing going to Germany because this man said come to Germany?" I'm like, "No." And I wish I had trusted him to say, come to Germany and I'll show you around. I'm like, but as a woman can't just go off and a man says, "Hey, I want to show you around Germany." It's like, no, I don't think so. And I wish I had, because I would have loved to have seen some of the sites and whatever, but
Yeah,
maybe
well,
another time.
I know Oliver since more than 20 years, and you can trust him.
Yeah, but think about your daughter, your mother, your wife, or whatever. You're just like, hey, be very careful. And it's just me being from New York. We just be careful. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
So everybody,
yeah,
go ahead, Tom.
please. Anybody has some other comments or stories from your life and how you did it? How you now think how you could do it? Here is a place to ask the question.
Right.
Now also I put the link to our Mentimeter survey, and so we are more than 30 people in the call, and 7 of them of you, thank you very much, answered the survey, which was not bad, the answers, but I think we can do better than 7. So I expect a 2-digit amount of people answering the survey. Survey is in the chat, the link. You just click the link, and then you have 5 sliders. So it's done in less than 1 minute. If you are 8, wonderful. So if no other question comes up, 10, wonderful. We achieved our goal. This is success. Thank you very much.
Excellent. It's been a pleasure meeting all of you. Connect with me on LinkedIn, if nothing more than just to say hello. I'm a great person to know in terms of networking and motivating. I'm very motivating. So if you feel you want to talk, that PMO, I did the PMO exam 2 years ago, and it was PMI's PMP. It just terrifies you and make you so afraid of any other exam. But believe me, that PMO exam was quite fast. The training is delicious. I can't even say enough about it. Just wonderful. So consider taking the training and staying ahead of the curve. Don't be with the pack. Get ahead. That's how you get to do things, make more money by staying ahead of the crowd.
True. Can you see the slide, Elaine?
No, I'm going to hit an escape. And I don't know if you still can see me.
No.
You see my screen?
I share my screen now because I'm the master of procedure here. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
And my screen now is showing the Mentimeter feedback, which is very favorable for you as a presenter. Thank you very much.
Let me get a picture of it so I don't.
Yes.
That's
I will send around that. So then let me try to thank you again, Elaine, and conclude with some statements. So what do we have here? So question and answers we had already, and the Mentimeter we had already, and the next events. We have, as I said, face-to-face in Darmstadt. And so if you are around Darmstadt, Elaine, you are invited to come. We have some plain water and some cookies normally. And so we have a round table, and that's very interesting because we have less than 10 people normally, and we sit around a big table and, we discuss problems that come up at the evening. Wonderful. And then we have our webinars. The next webinar is on 2nd of April, and it's Lutz Kalger. Lutz, you are still here?
Yes, I am. Hello, Thomas. Yes.
Maybe you can. I know Lutz almost since 20 plus years, and so we discussed some months ago. And yes, Lutz was very positive to present something. Maybe you can say some words about what you are presenting on the 2nd of April.
Yes, thanks, Thomas. I'm going to speak about my experiences from 20 years plus in project management, but also on my long distance running, and particular the last 100 miles in Berlin. There have been a lot of parallels to skills and challenges in project management, but I'll also talk about everyone's own responsibility and the parallels I see not only in sports, but in what you do and what Elaine was referring to in her presentation today. It's a lot about yourself, your inner motivation, and that can accomplish a lot of things. I'll just take my long distance running projects as a example of my own experiences and the application and the parallels I see with project management.
Great.
Thank you.
Looking forward to that. And by the way, you don't know that yet. So this event will be moderated not by me.
Okay.
I will be there, but
Okay.
it will be moderated by our 5th volunteer, Mohammed.
Okay.
Who will have his first moderation. So I'm really keen to look at that and be there and have Mohammed really to do that. So
Okay.
I will that's might be a surprise to you, but okay.
No, all good.
Here it is.
All right. Maybe I'll stop by next Monday in Darmstadt.
Yeah, sure.
Good.
So then we have the PMI Global Summit. So it's a full week. The second week in April is in Berlin. Is PMI, a lot of PMI meetings, and in the core of it, on the 10th and 11th, is the Global Summit. and I think it's will be almost 1,000 people and a lot of excellent presentations. And yeah, for sure, it's a big networking event. So if you haven't signed up yet, maybe you can discuss it. And Berlin is always good to be in April. It's not so hot yet, but it should be sunny. Then the next face-to-face we have in April on 22nd, and we have a French woman, Isabel Jenkins. So she will talk about project success related to quality norms and standards in project management, and then again the face-to-face. And we are working on the other meetings in May. Contacts. So our group and myself is Florian Andrea from France. It's Mohamed Resai from Afghanistan. So this I found it really amazing. You know, he came here with his family, wife and 3 kids. I think 1.5 years ago, and now he was learning German and has a job and is volunteering. I think that's how you can increase your integration into a new society. We have our group lead is Elena. She is sick today. All the best, Elena, if you see that. And she's from Northern Macedonia. If you don't know that, you know, the capital is Skopje. It's a small country, and I was there. I love it. Yeah. So I think if you do some vacations and nobody thinks about Northern Macedonia, but you should consider it. And we have Tufik Habli from Lebanon, and actually he lives in Lebanon in Beirut. So he's there with his family, and he's looking for some venues to come here to Germany. And so if you want to join us as a group, or if you want to join any group in the PMI Germany chapter, we have a lot of groups. You see, we can do remote volunteering. We can do volunteering in English language. And as long as you give some value to the members and the participants in webinars, I think you can be a perfect fit.